Hello, I'm Wanderer001 and this is my review of the Taotronics TT-BR08 Bluetooth receiver. This is a very small Bluetooth receiver that you can have for your car if it does not have Bluetooth, or if you no longer have a 3.5 millimeter plug on your smartphone that you could plug into your car stereo, because cars tend to have a plug for 3.5 millimeter jacks, but your smartphone might not have one anymore, since that seems to be what's going on. And I fall into this category too. My old cell phone had a 3.5 millimeter plug. My new one doesn't. So I have this, a Bluetooth receiver, since the Bluetooth in my car stereo is not working correctly for whatever reason. I did do a review of a older model of this, the Taotronics TT-BR05 review over there. This is an upgraded model, as I gave that one away to my brother so he could use it. There is a model under this, the Taotronics TT-BR06. There are two differences. They have the same form factor, but the 06 as opposed to the 08 is missing two major features, one being the 2-mic setup, which this one has, and I'll explain a little bit about that later, and the Siri button integration, which this one has, and I will talk about a little later. Aside from that, those are the only differences between the 06 and the 08. Speaking of form factor, you are looking at a device 1.6 millimeters wide at the top here, because it does kind of dip down into this D shape. It is 1.9 inches in length, again at the widest point here, and has a depth of 0.4, so just shy of being a ½ inch wide. Now, the physical dimensions of this are great, but in case you need a little visual aid, here it is next to a US quarter, and I'll put that right on top of there, and you can see that the button panel in the middle, just a little bit bigger than the coin here. So the build quality on it here, you're looking at just a matte plastic finish on the front. There's nothing really going on there, nothing too fancy. That is a microphone hole right there. You do have a shiny, so you can see glossy finish there on the volume up, volume down, skip track back, and skip track forward. And the center button, which is play, pause, power, does a whole bunch of other things I'll talk about a little later. That is the same finish as the front material here. If you tap on it, can't really see, because that's one of the problems with this. Those buttons do light up once you tap the center button. I'll do it one more time. Note the center button is not lighting up, only the side buttons, but in direct sunlight, you can't really tell the difference. So that's one of the problems I have with this, is the lights on there just aren't that bright. Coming around to the top, there's nothing going on down up there. Likewise on the back, if we just quickly look at that, same matte plastic finish. On the left, I'm going to call it the left side, you have your plug for your 3.5 millimeter peripherals. On the right hand side, you have a Siri button. Now, I got this hoping that this would work with other assistants. However, this only works with Siri, so I don't have any iOS devices, so sadly this is one thing I was not able to test. The side just has this kind of silvery plastic finish to make it look a little fancier, nothing really going on there. At the bottom you have a micro USB port. Now this is to charge the device, not to connect the device. Your device is connected via that 3.5 millimeter plug there. So that means that this runs on battery. Now, in my testing, I got pretty much close to what they said it could do, which is 15 hours of active using time. Now, that varies depending on if you're listening to really loud, depending on what you're listening to, depending on how long you're listening at a time. What I will say is the 2-hour charge time that they claim is spot on, maybe even a little less. Now, when the device is running low on battery, you will hear a almost non-audible chime. And I say non-audible because it's so low you might not notice it. And that's going to chime every 10, 5, and then dead. What happens when this is dead, if you push and hold on that button, you're going to see this red, and I'm showing you what that looks like now. That means you can't play it, you can't connect to it anymore. You do need to plug it into charge. When you're charging it, you're going to see that it's green. It's going to flash red in there at the start, but the longer it charges, the more green it gets. But green does not mean it is done charging. When it is done charging, the light goes out, and then you'll know it's done charging. Now, some of the benefits that this has over my older version is, well, one, it's 4.1 Bluetooth compatible. It also has noise cancellation. So Qualcomm's CVC 6.0, as well as A2DP, which will also help with your audio quality. Now, I'm not an audiophile. Mainly, I listen to podcasts with this. I do listen to music, but I don't have the ear to tell you that this is going to make it sound awesome. There are two mics, one there, and then if we flip it around right there, little whip back there, but there is the other microphone. So one of the microphones is so that you can make calls with this, and the other microphone is to pick up the background noise to clear out any sounds that it might hear, so sound cancellation. Call quality is not terrible. Again, I don't have an ear for that, but when I did use it for calls, it was nice. It sounded perfectly fine. Now, I did neglect to mention what comes in the box. And here we see what comes in the box with it. So you have a really short 3.5 to 3.5 jack that you can plug into this. Now the problem with this is it's short. Depending on where your plug in your stereo system is, this might not be long enough to get to it. So it's nice that it's in there, but it really doesn't do much. You also have this, which is a micro USB charging cable. Again, really short, no wall warts. So you have to provide your own, or you plug it into your computer. Nice that it's there, not terribly useful. You have this, a 3M double back tape, so that you can adhere it to the back of this and then stick it to your dash. Nice thought if you want to have this permanently affixed to your dash. I do not, but it's nice that it's in there. Last but not least, this double-sided 3.5mm to 3.5mm jack. You can plug this guy in like so, and then plug it into your dash. But if you're like me and your 3.5mm aux plug is in your center console, you won't be able to use that. So you'll have to get a separate cable to utilize this. Now that's something else. If you have a aux jack in your center console that's out of the way, you're going to get a cable and have this kind of sitting somewhere else. Now, in order to make calls with this, you will have to interact with these buttons. So you do have to pick it up. And depending on where it is, how close it is to you, is how good call quality will sound to the other person. Now, the one thing I do not really like about this is the buttons. They feel kind of loose. They're not as responsive as I'd like them to be. And the other thing is, with the TTBR05, a quick tap of the center button here would pair it to your device. Now, if I do this now and try and quick tap it, all it will do is turn on those lights. You have to push and hold in order for it to start searching. Now there you can see it's flashing red and blue. That means it's looking to pair with the device. Now I'm gonna quickly reach off camera and turn on the Bluetooth that this is connected to. And you'll notice once it connects, it will stop flashing red and blue. There you go. Once it's connected, it will stop flashing and it will then just flash blue. Now the problem with that is, again, it's hard to see. So if you want to disconnect, you have to long push and wait. And there you saw the flash of red. Now it is no longer connected to my Bluetooth device. The center button is also how you could pick up a call by pressing it, hang up on the call by pressing it, and then if you press and hold the button for 2 seconds, it will reject a call. Now, you can have two devices you can have two devices attached to this receiver at one time. However, only one at a time will be able to make calls or use the Bluetooth for audio. The range of this is 33 feet. Now that's a plus and a minus because depending on where your car is in relation to the rest of your house and where you keep your phone can actually stay connected to this while you're inside your house. And if you don't turn off your Bluetooth or forget to turn off your Bluetooth, you could be playing audio and not realizing it. Now the other thing is, if you're still connected to this, that means that the Bluetooth receiver is also still on. Now that's in standby mode, not actively playing, which is nice, but you'll be eating the battery. If you do detach from the Bluetooth and this is still on, after about 8 minutes, it will power itself down. So that's a nice power saving feature. Even though I might not like the buttons because they're loose in comparison to the 05, what I do like is that you get separate volume rockers and skip buttons. The other beauty of having something like this is you get an extra level of volume control because you can turn the volume all the way up on this device and then still be able to lower or raise the volume on your smartphone. So it's like an extra level of audio control, which is nice, and I like that. So if you are looking for a Bluetooth receiver because your car doesn't have one, or it's stopped working, or your cell phone no longer has a 3.5mm port, the Taotronics TTBR-08 might be what you're looking for. The last question you probably have is, well, how much does it cost? Well, if you keep track, you can probably pick it up on a lightning sale on Amazon for about $15. Normally, it's $20. So if you have that Siri integration on your phone, it could be worth picking up. Even at $20, it's still not a bad grab for the battery life that it has. But if you're looking to save a little money, then the TTBR-6, which again doesn't have the 2 mic system, so it has a slightly less noise cancellation mode, and it doesn't have that Siri button, generally runs normally for $15, probably get it on sale for even cheaper. Or like I said, that review up in the corner there of the TTBR-05, I think that's down to like $10 now. But like I said, if you need a Bluetooth receiver, highly recommend it. I have been Wanderer001. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the area below. And as always, thanks for watching.